Found in pubs all over the world, foosball is for the flat-footed amateur and the money-making pro alike. And it's the Tornado Platinum Tour Edition you'll find at international tournaments.
Pretty much every continent, you're going to find some very avid foosers, and they all want to play on the Tornado table.
Built like a tank, these tables are assembled by hand with perfectly balanced players and heat-tempered rods.
You can literally pick it up by the rods if you want with very minimal damage to the table.
The seasoned player can tell a tornado by touch alone.
It's just simply the connection you make when you grab those handles.
It's taka-taka in Chile, kikuri in Finland, and biliardino in Italy. Foosball is played with particular passion all over the world.
I cannot even grasp how many people take foosball seriously. It's amazing.
Tornado makes durable, solidly constructed foosball tables.
The devil's in the detail, and we're very detail-oriented.
The table begins with MDF, medium-density fiberboard, cut on a CNC machine.
Behind me is our CNC, where we process our foosball sidewalls and playfields.
Holes for the rods are drilled in using a machine called a 9-hole.
After this machine, we take the parts to the assembly line, where the guys assemble the body.
Assembly starts with the green playfield. A graphic printed on a laminated sheet is glued to MDF using contact cement.
Our tolerance for the alignment of the lines is extremely critical because our foosball players demand accuracy.
Meanwhile, the end wall is constructed and then secured to the side walls. A rubber gasket is put around the perimeter.
Now I'm gonna put a waterproof seal all the way around.
We treat all the edges with the same stuff that people use for deck sealing.
This is to save the table from spilled drinks. These tables have been contending with dripping beer since 1973. Tornado set out to make their tables so that anyone could play any foosball game anywhere in the world.
No matter what style, you can play that on the Tornado table, and I think that really has a lot to do with the appeal around the world.
Foosball itself has an even longer history.
We can trace light games back to Egyptian times, but there was patents filed for foosball tables in the mid-1860s.
Table football was popular in Europe, and during World War II, American servicemen learned it and loved it. The word foosball came from the German Fußball.
When the servicemen came back, foosball, as they pronounced it as the Germans would.
The term is now well recognized, but this box is only part way to resembling the final game.
With the playfield inside of it, the table box is assembled.
Once the box has been assembled, it's sanded all over.
After they sand the sides and sand every part of this wall, they're gonna laminate.
The Platinum Edition is laminated in silver. Then, kind of like the classic magic act of sawing a woman in two, the box is cut in half.
We do that so that when you put the hinges on, when it folds them down, the two halves match up absolutely perfectly.
The table is buzzed in half to give operators access to the internal components. These are dropped in at this stage.
The ball trap, which is the part that releases the balls to the player as he inserts his money, the coin mechanism, the turn ramp, the center ball return, that's all assembled into the bottom half.
All of the components are tested before moving on to the top half.
The top half gets rods, men, and handles assembled to it.
The men and handles are secured onto the rods using a roll pin. Using a nut and bolt would cause a weight imbalance.
The players are perfectly balanced.
The rods are made out of gun stock. They are precisely rounded, chrome-plated, and heat-tempered.
We heat treat our rods so that when the customers put a lot of force on them, they don't bend.
The balls themselves are brought in, then perfected at Tornado on a machine built by NASA to grind O-rings for space shuttles. The rough texture helps improve the grip.
They come to us smooth, and we put them in a tumbler to get the rough texture.
The two halves of the table are put together. A completed table weighs about 350 pounds.
The table has to be perfectly rigid and it has to be heavy, so that during play, it does not walk.
It's not just heavy, it's also incredibly sturdy.
Right now, the machine is finished.
The table is boxed up. When it arrives at the bar or tournament it's bound for, it will take less than 20 minutes to put it together.
99 out of 100 times, you're always going to be able to feel that tornado. It's just simply the connection you make when you grab those handles.